Tonight, Terence Crawford was Turkey Al-Sheikh at the other event across town. Put out an open challenge to you on the internet with Turkey Al-Sheikh calling you out. What's your response to Terence Crawford's call out tonight?
No comment.
Are you open to fighting Conor McGregor next year?
Yeah, why no? And then we show boxing is better. Easy, way easy money. Oh, at the time I want. 1 round, 2 rounds, 3 rounds, whatever I want.
¿Te gustaría enfrentar a Floyd Mayweather otra vez?
Sí, claro que sí. Me encantaría tener la oportunidad de quitarme la espinita. Obviamente sabemos que ya no va a suceder, pero sí, me hubiera encantado quitarme esa espinita.
So Canelo Alvarez came out stating that he wants to have a rematch with Floyd Mayweather, even though Floyd is 47 years old and 3 divisions smaller than him. Canelo said he wants to remove that thorn, aka the Floyd Mayweather loss, because now he has so much more experience. And even though Canelo admitted that the Bivol loss bothered him more, he doesn't want to remove the Bivol thorn, who is active today, unlike Floyd Mayweather, who is already retired. Floyd retired a decade ago, who is in and around Canelo division. Bivol even agreed to move down to 168 to fight Canelo Alvarez, unlike Floyd, who is 3 divisions smaller than him. More importantly, Canelo and Bivol are the same exact age. However, Floyd, he's nearly 50 years old. That's who Canelo wants to fight. To make matters worse, when Canelo was asked about fighting the Floyd Mayweather of today, pound for pound, #1, the best fighter in the world, Terence Bud Crawford, Canelo said, no comment. Before that, Canelo asked for $150 million to fight Crawford, who's 3 divisions smaller than him. The same amount he asked to fight for David Benavidez, who he says he only brings 25 pounds more than me. Well, ironically, when Canelo was asked about fighting the Floyd Mayweather of today, Terence Bud Crawford, who is way more than 25 pounds, naturally smaller than Canelo, Canelo Alvarez asked for the same number he wants to fight David Benavidez for, which is $150 million guaranteed. Another thing I want you guys to pay attention to, Canelo says, I don't want to fight Crawford because he's too small. They're not going to give me my credit. However, with the next breath, Canelo calls out Floyd for a rematch, who is the same size as Crawford and is 10 years older than Crawford. Canelo wanted to fight Errol Spence, who was too small, but doesn't want to fight the man who beat Spence, Crawford. Canelo fought Amir Khan. Canelo fought Josecito Lopez. Canelo fought Jamel Charlo. They were all too small. All of them had to move up 2 weight divisions to fight him. Now, all of a sudden, when it's time to fight Crawford, now he want to complain about Crawford being too small and not receiving his credit. However, he went out of his way to fight those other guys I just named. This is self-explanatory. If you think this sounds bad, well, it gets worse with Canelo Alvarez. Canelo even said he's willing to fight Conor McGregor next year to show the UFC what's the better sport. And I'm sitting here wondering why you don't show which one is the better sport by fighting the best in your own sport, not fighting other fighters from different sports. Imagine Missy saying, listen, I want to show that soccer is better than basketball. Bring LeBron to the soccer field. Is that going to prove and show which one is the better sport? Of course not. You're going to prove which one is the better sport by playing the best teams, which that's how all of the sports operate. Basketball, football, soccer, in the NFL, in the NBA, FIFA, the World Cup, it don't matter what sport it is. The best always play the best. In the UFC, the reason why they succeeded is because the best fight the best. But in boxing, Canelo Alvarez has ruined the sport because he stayed cherry picking instead of fighting the best while claiming that he's the best fighter in the world. Don't mind Canelo. He's still learning English, and he just happened not to finish the sentence. Canelo meant to say he's the best fighter in the world at ducking the best competition and cherry picking the weakest opposition that no one wants to see. Currently at 168, Canelo Alvarez is killing the division by keeping the belts hostage. He won't vacate the titles, nor he will fight his mandatories, David Benavidez and David Morrell. To make matters worse, when Canelo is being asked about fighting David Benavidez, he says he wants $200 million. Basically, he doesn't want the smoke. Obviously, he don't want to fight Morrell, nor he want to avenge his loss to Bivol. However, he wants to avenge his loss to Floyd Mayweather, who's 50 years old, or nearly 50 years old, instead of fighting Bivol, who's still active, like I said before. The least thing Canelo Alvarez can do is fight the next Floyd, Terence Bud Crawford, the Floyd Mayweather of today. But Canelo will say no comment, or I want $150 million to fight Bud. However, he keep begging to fight Floyd Mayweather again, a fighter that's not available, a fighter that has been retired for the past decade. What's worse than that is that Canelo called out Conor McGregor to fight next year. I want you guys to peep the pattern here. When Canelo is being asked about fighting Conor McGregor, he says, absolutely, let's fight next year. When he's being asked about Floyd, he says, absolutely, I want to fight him again in a rematch next year. I have more experience now. However, when he's being asked about Terence Bud Crawford, he says, no comment, or I want $150 million. Notice Canelo didn't tell Bud, yeah, let's fight next year, like he told Floyd and Conor McGregor. This is embarrassing at this point. Canelo Alvarez told the world he would rather fight a retired, nearly 50 years old Floyd Mayweather or a UFC fighter, Conor McGregor, over Terence Bud Crawford, David Benavidez, and Bivol Rematch, the fights that will define his legacy. Let's be clear, Canelo is only known for two things: losing to Floyd, that's how he got famous. Canelo is not famously known for winning. He's famously known for losing every round, every minute, and every second to Floyd Mayweather. That's what Canelo Alvarez is famously known for. Another thing he's famously known for is testing positive for PEDs in the second biggest fight of his career against Gennady Golovkin. Therefore, when you take a look at Canelo Alvarez's legacy, it's placed in the dirt. Who have he beat? Nobody, because Lara beat him, Gennady Golovkin arguably beat him, and Canelo tested positive for PEDs. Both of these fights, majority of the public felt Canelo robbed his opponents. Floyd beat him. Then the rest of the fighters that are any good, Canelo Alvarez ducked them. From Demetrius Andrade to Jamal Charlo before he mentally broke down, and David Benavidez. Therefore, Canelo Alvarez's legacy will go down as the most overrated fighter of all time and the best fighter in the world at cherry picking. At this point, Canelo is even struggling to knock out the cherries he's selecting. He couldn't knock out Ryder, he couldn't knock out Munguia, and he couldn't knock out Edgar Berlanga. I mean, think about that. On one hand, Terence Bud Crawford, he's knocking out elite level competition, A-class level fighters like Errol Spence, Gamboa, Sean Porter, Kell Brook, Benavidez, Jeff Horn, after he beat Manny Pacquiao, Flex Diaz, etc., 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 before Crawford moved up to his fourth weight class and beat the Bivol of his division, Madrimov. Crawford knocked out 11 opponents back to back to back and stopped every single opponent in the welterweight division, aka his third division. Canelo Alvarez's third division, he can't even knock out D and C level opposition. Cherry picks that he's selecting. They even given him the fights of his life. They supposed to be first round KOs, cherry picks, and Canelo makes these fights look like Hagler Hearn. Look at Canelo face after Edgar Berlanga fight. Look at Canelo face after the Ryder and Munguia fights. Canelo was looking like he was in the fight of his life. It makes you start wondering, will a cherry end up beating Canelo Alvarez? This is why Canelo Alvarez is choosing to lower his bar even more. Even though Canelo Alvarez's bar is already so low, his standards are so low that even a midget can reach it. Canelo Alvarez wants to fight Conor McGregor in 2025, Floyd Mayweather, who is nearly 50 years old, in 2025, and Jake Paul. This is Canelo Alvarez's legacy hit list. Clearly, Terence Bud Crawford, David Benavidez, David Morrell, and Bivol have Canelo Alvarez shaking in his boots, where he'd rather fight those guys instead. This is how you guys know Canelo Alvarez is all cap. He says he want to avenge his loss to Floyd, but he doesn't want to avenge his loss to Bivol. He says that he gained so much experience now, but he wants to fight a fighter that's not available, who's been retired for a decade. However, he don't want to fight the fighter who is equivalent to that fighter, the Floyd Mayweather of today, Terence Bud Crawford, even though Crawford is facing even more obstacles than Floyd Mayweather faced, since Crawford has to move up more weight classes. Even then, Canelo Alvarez is avoiding Terence Bud Crawford. With the opinions out of the door and the facts laid out on the table, go ahead and drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe below, and to be continued on the next episode of Akhi TV. Peace out. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
The only two blemishes on your record, obviously, Floyd Mayweather and Bivol. I've heard fighters say they learn more from losses than wins. Were there anything, I guess, which of those fights did you learn from, or like, which one bothered you the most just out of those two?
Bothered me more like the Bivol fight because, I think I'm not in my 100% in that fight. I should be stop it and take more time. But at the end of the day, everything happened for a reason, and I learned my lesson in that way, and that's it.
So what's the reason for wanting the 200 million?
No, obviously he's a risk. He's a great fighter, and plus he bring to the ring the fight night. He bring 25 pounds more than me, so it's a risk. But I don't care about that. If the money is right, I can beat tomorrow that guy.
As I tell before to the ESPN, I give him the offer. If he's smart, he will accept it.
So just so we're clear, so everyone understands, you've already sent an offer to Canelo to fight Terence Crawford if Terence Crawford wins tonight.
But if he doesn't, I want Ortiz.
What do we think about Terence Crawford's performance, and do you want to get a fight with him?
If the money is right, I mean...
$100 million? I heard Turkey offered you a big money already.
150.
150?